Now time Jens Mary calls us to the battle and the fray. From those who fought on Flodden Field, we shall not turn away. In honor of the heroes who revered Ike's honest tune, we'll follow our cornet, follow our cornet, follow our cornet through.
The story begins sometime in 1962, when a group of men met more or less by chance in a local hostelry, and as the late Dod Robson, a man very influential in the early days of the club, explains.
It was a funny beginning to the thing, because I was in the Queen's Heat. It was a Saturday morning, and the night before we had Burns's supper at Denham, Royal Scots, that was a bit Warrawee. And Goosey Ellis had just finished, he was in the Merchant Navy. Ronnie Murphy and Goosey and his brother came in, and Ronnie Tate. And Jim Davison, he was the insuranceman, came in. He says, "You look a bit sick today, though." I says, "I had a big night last night." I said, "I'm coming good now, a couple of pints and I'm just about right." He says, "You can," he says, "Where was it?" I said, "Was it Denham?" I said, "It was the Burns supper." He says, he says, "You can, that's what I miss," he says, "being insuranceman." He says, You never had banners like that as an insurance man." He says, "You're all working on a Friday night," and he says, you haven't got working in the mill." And he says, "You can't." He says, "I can't even get to the Cornet's dinner because," he says, "it's hard to get a ticket." He says, "No, I can't afford the Cornet. I've never followed the Cornet in my life." He says, "But I need that." I says, "You can have your own dinner, you can make it on the night you want." I said, "Surely you can get away in Friday night." I said, "Well, look," I said, "there's 6 over here." I said, "Surely you can get foul mates. Surely you can get foul folk to come up and get foul easily." And I said, "You can have a rain dinner."
1514 Club came into being in possibly 1962, and the idea of it was mooted by 2 or 3 blokes in the knitwear industry that were quite keen on the common riding, but they didn't get involved with horses at all, and they felt that they were missing out with all the functions, etc. And they were awful keen to kind of, take part in that side of it, the sort of tradition and the dinners and the various things like that. So 4 of them got together and said, "Right, let's get so many folk each, and we'll create this 1514 club."
So there were 5 who had a meeting in the wee Moosey's Hall in the Queen's Heat, and we decided that we would have a little do over rain, the common riding celebration. We decided that we would have a club, and they come up with all kinds of fancy names for the common riding club and kind of Folliers, riders clubs and all this, and finally settled on 1514 Club, which I thought was excellent.
Various meetings were held in the Queen's Head, and these bore fruit when the inaugural 1514 Club dinner was held on the 31st of May 1963 in Mospall Hotel, which Willie Newbiggin had taken over the previous July. Approximately 30 gentlemen attended that first dinner. Dod Robson was in the chair. The toast to the common riding was proposed by Jim Davidson, and the vote of thanks by Rob Oliver. The second dinner, which has come to be referred to as the first annual dinner, was held again in Mospall on the Friday before the 1964 common riding. The club has continued with this tradition, and to this day holds its annual dinner on the Friday before Denham Rideout. It has been held in various venues, including the Fox and Hounds at Denham, the Horse and Hounds at Bonchester, Thorterdykes, the Tower Crown and Victoria Hotels, the Town Hall, Drumlandig School, and latterly the Burns Club. The early dinners were informal affairs with no top table and ended in an interesting way.
First experience of the 1514 dinner was in the Vic Hotel many years ago, and 22 people attended, and If you didn't sing a song, you had to buy a round of drinks.
The first dinner when the 5 guys that decided to have the club invited 3 other friends to be at that first dinner. And in the days, the dinner went on just as an informal thing. And at the end of the dinner, chairman stood up, took the book, and he sung the first verse of Teary Bus, and then he handed the book to the left, and everybody had to sing a song in order all the way around until all the song was sung. There were some real plats, I'll tell you.
And then we said, right, we're going to have a dinner, and that was really quite interesting because obviously it was an unofficial dinner. There was no cornet or no official aspect to it as far as the common riding was concerned. But we got together and I think we went to Mossball, and there'd be about 32 of us or 34 of us that went up there. And we had a nice meal and then started some sing-songs, and we said, what are we going to do now? So we said, well, it would be cornets up, so we'll all get up. And we just basically passed the songbook round and we all sang a verse of Teary Bus, and that was the first year. And everybody thoroughly enjoyed it.
In 1964, Lochgar and Knitwear, where club member Alistair Buchan was employed, were commissioned to design a 1514 club tie. The design they came up with, a black tie with stripes of blue and yellow, surmounted by the common riding flag motif, is retained today, the only differences being in the changing styles of the ties decreed by the fashion of the day.
The idea came up that we could have a club tie. And it so happened that I'd been designing a range of ties for the forthcoming common riding for somebody we thought was going to be cornet. And the designs were along the line of what we thought he would probably be interested in. Well, it so happened that he wasn't asked to be cornet. Somebody else got the job. So we had quite a lot of these ties, the designs anyway, going to Beggin. So we had a look at them, and we came up with the one that we have now, and really using the 4 stripes, which at the time had been based on the fact the other guy was interested, he was a white harlequin. So we used the harlequin kind of colours on that tie, and it also, of course, was blue and yellow on a background which suited the 1514 club. So for the 4 founding members we had the 4 stripes, and we added, of course, the 1514 flag.
From 1964 to 1976, an unofficial committee comprised of men who are still club members like Ronnie Tate, Ronnie Murphy, Jim Beattie, Jim Matthews and Jack Tate, and others who have sadly gone from us like Ian Armstrong, Jackie Blakey, Tom Telfer and Harold Simpson, organised the club's functions. Membership gradually rose. In 1976, the club held its first burn supper in the Marina Function Suite, with Jackie Deebs Blakey in the chair. That year also saw the first dinner when the cornet was present. Cornet Haig Hinton being invited to attend, being a member, accompanied by his acting father Jack Yallop, also a member. It being a 5-week common riding, they had a free night. This was a key moment in the history of the club.
Looking back to 1976, I think it was a great privilege to be the first cornet to attend the dinner.
I would just like to follow you on to say I was very privileged the first Northern Feather to go on. I was a member of the club, and it made me a right special honour because it was now an official club.
And we got our first cornet, you mind, Frau Jockey all up in the sample room.
That's right.
I got Haig Hinton.
Haig Hinton
that come because
that's right.
I worked and he was in the Stokely mine, and that was a big day for
Right to say that the club developed larger and larger, and I'm going to give credit here to Jock Yallop and Haig Hinton. Jock Yallop was on the committee from the early days, and he was the instigator of the first cornet attending the official dinner, which was in 1976.
Also in 1976, a new club initiative was launched.
Some of the founder members thought it would be a good idea to try and have a competition for primary school kids to get them interested in the common riding. The original idea had been a poetry competition, I thought about this for a wee while, and well, I think poetry's awfully hard, and I persuaded them to think about an art competition instead, where we maybe could include more folk. They were quite happy to do this, and I was asked along to the first AGM in April '77 to put forward some ideas. So we got the art competition off the ground. The first competition was held in Burnfoot Primary School, which I happened to work at the time, and much to my amazement, we got about 60 odd entries. I'd have been happy with half that, but that's how the thing started. It's grown over the years. Not long after that, we were offered the Sculpture Gallery and Museum, and before very long, it was attracting 200 to 300 entries. We've been very lucky over the years with support and sponsorship. Rob Charters, ex-president Rob Scotland Charters, has generously sponsored it for quite a number of years now, and we're in the process of getting a cup to present to the winning entry every year. It's become quite obvious now that we're a multicultural society when you see some of the names that appear on the winners list, so I think it's more important than ever now to get youngsters into the way our heritage and our common riding, and I think that in some way the art competition helps to do this.
In April 1977, the club drew up its constitution, declaring its object to be to protect and support the interests of Hoyt common riding and its ancient rights.
At the back end of '76, we formed a constitution with the club, had an AGM, and we got about 15 to 16 people attending the AGM, and we done it properly. So I would say that this club then came affiliated at that time, 1976.
Jackie Blakey became the club chairman, and it was agreed to hold an annual general meeting in November. In that year also, David Johnson was commissioned to write a 1514 club song, which ex-acting father Addie Ingalls set to music. '77 was the first year the Cornet was invited to attend the dinner by his right-hand man Haig Hinton, and Jim Robertson became the first Cornet to be offered automatic membership. This has happened every year since.
I'll tell you how Gaynor didn't get to the 1514 dinner in 1977. I hadn't realised that it was part of the... Well, it wasn't part of the diary then, and Haig had been the year before, obviously, as a non-member. And I hadn't been invited, and we'd actually took another booking for the night of the dinner. And of course Haig says, you can't take another booking, I've got the 1514 dinner. I can't remember if it was the Con Club or the Masons or the Burns Club or somewhere. And it said, you can't. My right and left says, you can't, you've got to get the 1514. This is it kicking off, and it's a club that we're wanting to pick up and get going with. So eventually, I think it was the Con Club relented and let it off that night. And of course we came to the 1514 dinner, and it became a standing dinner after that. It was, I know it would be the first Cornet to be invited.
At the first annual general meeting in November 1977, Ronnie Murphy was elected the club's first president, Jim Beattie secretary, and Harold Simpson treasurer. The 1514 club AGM has continued to be held on the first Wednesday in November.
We had our first AGM, official AGM, and it was in the station in April, and Ronnie had given us to get a constitution sorted, it was passed by the members, and we took it forward from there. I was elected, Ronnie was elected president, I was elected secretary and treasurer, believe it or not. And then we decided to have an AGM in November to start it off on a yearly basis, a proper AGM in November, which duly happened, and I was awful pleased that I can't a fellow called Harold Simpson, because Harold took over a treasurer's job, because I didn't like handling money.
To date, 36 men have had the great honour of presiding over the 1514 club. In 1979, the presidential chain of office was commissioned from Hamish Smith, who also produced a club badge for members. In 1980, to enable older Hawick folk to maintain their participation in the Commemorating, the Old Folks Tent at the Mayor was inaugurated. The staff of the town's old folks' homes bringing those who were fit enough to enjoy Hawick's Day of Days. The club laid on catering and entertainment, and of course the highlight of the day was when the Cornet and his party paid a visit, and many tales were told of Commemoratings long past.
A lot of innovation and all, like, we never sort of sit back on our laurels, we always sort of says, right, let's try this. The inside thing about the club, the funny thing is, it's nothing really to do with the club, it's a sign of the times when we had to stop the tent for the old folk, Jim.
Yes, but that again, Jim, that's what they
nothing
call
to do
health
with
and
the club.
safety.
Yes.
Health and safety.
Nothing to do with the club.
I mean, Ewan was gone, he's digging up. My father was in the last ones up there, and I've got photos in the house, but when you seen all the Aldens that was there, Dio name, your Hohen, and Christ away back there, the mind the twin, Edgar, the twins, what do you call them? Was he in? Oh, jeez.
They had good fun up there.
Health and safety, Jim.
You wonder
why. Because I loved it.
God, I loved it.
It was the biggest day of the year.
I mind the fun, taking the tent, going on the Saturday and the fun, the set of teeth. And I says it wasn't a mate of fun, it was very sheer fun. And I handed them in it. The Drumlandry Coastful, and they were doing, the woman opened up and says, oh, there's so and so.
The committee became really quite keen and active, and throughout the years they developed all sorts of constructive ideas as to how to help the Commemorating and the town. And one of our great things was the tent for the old folk up in the Mayor, and we'd all go up and give them a song, and they organised the buses to get them there, and to see these folks' faces, it was an absolute treat.
When I first came out the committee, we had the old folks tent, which was a pleasure today, and he was giving the audience some right good days out on Hawick Mayor. I always remember saying, we used to call Blindwally up there, and nobody believed us that he was in the tent, and we were all trooping up to see him, and they thought he died years ago, and now he was sitting there, and I thoroughly enjoyed his song. Goodness, one of the many times I used to take him over the high street.
Sadly, in recent years, health and safety concerns have made it impossible for the club to continue with the tent, and this has been replaced by the club president and his wife during Commemorating Week, visiting each of the town's old folks' homes, accompanied by a small concert party to hand over gifts.
The great innovations of the 1514 club that I really enjoyed doing was going up the moor to the old folks' tent, entertaining the clients for all the homes and hospitals. Some of them got a wee bit worse for wear some years, but it was a great thing to see and a great thing to be involved in. I think most of the committee, with their time on the committee, had great times up there. And as we moved along in the later years, we're now going to visit the hospitals, spend a whole day visiting all the homes and hospitals in Hawick, and it was a superb day out, a really humbling experience, but a great feather in the cap of the 1514 club, because they entertained that much more folk on that day. And the Cornet, we link up with the Cornet now, he dances the reel, sings loads of songs, the drums and fifes play, and they have a great day out. It's absolutely superb. The main places they're going, obviously St Margaret's is a big thing, and with some great old 1514 members. Arthur Douglas, I remember being there, reciting poetry, singing songs, and they get a great laugh because they practice the old song and the reel in there, and it's a really good thing.
Hears them all long life, my favourite tunes are drums and fife. The music stirs up thoughts I find, goes backwards long I cast my mind. It seems like only yesterday my feather led my o'er the brae, and down the wind it did to Hightstown Ha, to hear the best band of them a'. Frae Westport Gate we'd hear them come, playing rumbling big and Dumbarton drum.
The club had held a Hawick Sings concert as far back as 1964, but it was in 1983 that the Young Hawick Sings concert was inaugurated by ex-acting fathers Addie Ingalls and Henry Douglas and Bert Armstrong.
And the concert started
Wasn't entirely my idea, but we had been chatting. Bert Armstrong and the late Addie Ingalls and I were often together at different functions, and we'd been talking about lack of young singers at functions like this at the Commemorating. And I think I suggested that we should maybe try and do something to encourage young singers to take part a bit more. And that was how the concert really started. It started in a quite small way. I think the first one was in Trinity Church, wasn't it? Trinity Church Hall.
And look at it now, eh?
Yeah. I'm pleased the way it's turned out, and I think the present members of committee and the presidents, the last few presidents, have really pushed it, and yourself as well. You've really pushed it as well. But I'm pleased that it's continued and it has grown, and it's great to see so many youngins coming along and taking part and being so enthusiastic as well. And it really has grabbed the folk in the town, because you can just need to look at, we're now in the town hall and sold out every year. It's tremendous.
Several of the youngsters who made their initial nervous stage debuts through this very worthwhile initiative have gone on to become established singers on the Commemorating circuit.
My connections with the 15-14, which started at the age of 17, singing in my first concert, and I sung Hoik in 1983, and I'm fortunate enough to have sung in every concert since. Addie Ingalls had put the fear of God into us. It was never the get out and enjoy yourself, it was just get all the words right and do it properly. And Addie, who will remain a stalwart of my whole life, he just set the scene for my future singing, not just at the 15-14 concert, but at numerous old folks' homes.
The concert has had several venues, but now, since the inclusion on the programme of a choir from each of the town's primary schools, only the town hall can cope with the vast numbers who wish to attend. The queue develops early on the morning of Bonchester Rideout, when the tickets go on sale.
Well, I've went at the 15-14 concert for the way at the start, and I've just I liked it because it's to do with Hoik, and I'm Hoik, and that's what makes all the difference. And I mind Alec Goldie singing, he was a brilliant singer, and the minister's granddaughter, she did poetry, but I can't mind her name either. She was off again. But then I like standing in the queue for the 15-14 concert, because you get all the part of the day, and you get the feeling it's there. And the best bit I would say about the concert is the atmosphere. Everybody's getting excited because it's getting near the Commemorating, and when the bairns come on, well, that's something else. And I feel like when the teachers say now dinner, for the bairns dinner, wave to anybody in the audience, the first thing they do.
Ready wonderful. The school kids, the talent, the older singers, the young singers, the up-and-coming talent in Hawick is just absolutely terrific. It's been an honour and a privilege to sponsor the 1514. They do sterling work and it's a joy. It's wonderful to come to the concerts when it's a total sellout and the town hall is just rocking. It's just great.
1984 saw the first club jersey, to be followed later by the club shirt. In 1985, the Pony Cup was first presented to the young rider with the best turned out pony. The first winner, Alan Weir, would go on to be cornet 11 years later, and several others would follow in his hoofprints, as would a good few who would go on to be jockeys.
The importance of the Pony Club is a great thing for the youngsters that are involved with the common riding. The thrill of getting anything presented to you through the cornet is it's a great thing. When you're as young and you had the cornet and it's sick a high steed, so it kind of makes your common riding when you're lucky to be selected for the top 3 ponies.
Were you in the top 3 when you were a boy?
I was lucky enough to do that a couple of times, aye.
Did you win it?
Won it a couple of times, aye. So it was a great thrill. And
what cornet presented you with?
I think it was Skitters, Gary Scott, that I got presented with.
And then when he came to be doing the presenting, that would mean a lot to you as well?
It did, aye. It did, because when he presented the prize hour, he can't really exactly what was going through the youngsters' mind, they can, and how happy they would be to win that, and again hopefully to be presented off the cornet, where they probably looked the same as what I looked in my younger days.
In 1986, a cassette tape of the Hawick songs was produced. Another tape was made the following year. These recordings have subsequently been converted to CD format.
I was fortunate enough to be elected president in the Silver Jubilee year in 1986. The committee discussed at the beginning of that year whether we wanted to do something special for By the Dinner, and it was agreed by the committee that we would have a Hawick Sing CD tape made. It was just something that we wanted to do to mark the occasion of the 25 years of the club. The tape was made by Mark Rogerson, Billy Bell up at Langham, and the artists that appeared made a great job of it, and it proved to be a huge success to the extent that we had to get an extra run of tapes made at the end of the sale of the first lot. The success of the tape, then the committee decided to have a second year of tapes. On the first year we did it music with it, mainly music by accordion and fiddle and piano, but on the second tape we decided to have the piano only with Andy Engels, and again the second tape in 1987 was a huge success.
Also in 1986, the club's Silver Jubilee dinner was held. A year, some argue 2 years too early. Oops. A memorable evening of speech, song and reminiscence.
The dinner, the committee discussed it beforehand, and they decided that the dinner would be held in the town hall, in the big town hall, which had never happened before. There was a wee bit concern about the numbers that would attend, or if there were going to be enough folk that would attend for the dinner, but however that proved to be wrong, and the night was a great success. The main speakers was ex-cornet Charlie Willens. We toasted the common riding, and for the first time ever we had a toast to the club by Eddie Armstrong for Langham. It was a great success and everybody thoroughly enjoyed it.
In 1987, near to the first tee at the Vertish Golf Course, a cairn was built by Ronnie Nichol using the granite sets from the High Street to mark the Burn Ford, the nearest point on the common to the town. Also in 1987, the club presented the 15-14 Club High School Sports Trophy to be awarded to the winning schoolhouse for athletics. The club also sponsors the school's first-year common riding quiz. After the death of Eddie Armstrong from Langham, a great friend of the club, a trophy was commissioned from Hamish Smith and has been presented annually since to the winner of the Langham School's Common Riding Art competition. One of the first winners was Ray Elliott, the latest of the Elliott dynasty to be the Langham Fair Crier.
When you come for hike, you take things for granted, but when you go out the town when I was representing the club, the esteem that you're held in blows you away. When I went to Langham, you get greeted at the door and they say, 15-14 President, aye. You can be announced and come in with our cornet, or you can walk in on your own. I said, I'm not in with a cornet, that's no fair. In the city and pride of place. And you're the only one that gets to get your photo taken with the winners afterwards. And that's the esteem that you're held in when you come from here.
In 1989, a cairn was erected to commemorate three of Hawick's worthies, Magenta Robbie, Tama Lincoln and High Iobi, who had hitherto lain in unmarked graves in the Wellgate Cemetery. The old granite sets from the High Street were again used. In 1991, cairns with plaques with historical information were erected to mark the boundaries of Hawick Common, stones salvaged from the old Tower Hotel being used.
We've erected 10 cairns round the common indicating places of interest, and the cornet is going to ceremonially unveil this in here. You can keep an eye open, whatever road you can back down. If you can do the nip nows or doing the blacks or doing high side, you'll find another one if you keep your eye open. And we've got to be, well, I think well worth doing for posterity to see, let people see where the different places of interest were on the common. So that somebody can be doing over the summer, you can have a walk around and see if you can find them all. So without any further ado, it being called, I'll now give you the half-hour speech that I was intending to give. And we'll ask the cornet to officially unveil this cairn.
Every year between Christmas and the New Year, the committee and friends walk round the common checking the state of the cairns. In 1992, a piano stool was presented to the club by his family in memory of ex-acting Father Addy Ingalls, long-time 15-14 Club and common riding accompanist. At the concert that year, the stool was presented to Provost Myra Turnbull, who accepted it on behalf of the town.
It was actually handmade in Hawick by Mr. Alec Cuthbertson, and it took over 40 hours he reckons to make in his own time, which we're greatly indebted. And Mrs. Margaret Stewart was employed at the Half Moon Yard, then the embroidery work, it took over 100 hours, so we're greatly indebted to her for that. Inscription on it presented be the 15-14 Club in memory of ex-acting Father Addy Ingalls, May 1992.
John, I feel very privileged and more than honoured to receive and accept this presentation from the 15-14 Club on behalf of the people of Hawick.
The stool has been used at the Overseas Night and the colour busing every year since. Also in 1992, the Uphill Mile was begun in conjunction with Teviotdale Harriers, participants running uphill all the way from the entrance to the moat to Crummock Hill Farm. In 1994 and again in 1997, Adam Robson, one of the finest artists Hawick has ever produced, gave the club two prints, Hawick where Slittrick and Teviot meet, and where Slittrick meets Teviot in Hawick. The proceeds of the sale of these have enabled the club to raise thousands of pounds for worthy local causes. More recently, the club has had prints taken from a plate of Tom Scott's iconic painting The Return from Horns Hole, presented to the club by ex-Langham cornet John Young. These have also been sold to make money for charity, and the club are currently organising the presentation of a framed copy to each of the schools in the Hawick catchment area. In 1995, a book was inaugurated in which the main speakers at the club's dinner and burn supper are asked to record their thoughts on the night. This has proved to be an invaluable addition to the club's memorabilia. Down through the years, club member Alec Cuthbertson, a talented craftsman, has presented the club with several pieces of memorabilia, including the box for the speaker's book and the club lectern. The club's gavel was made by Rob Turnbull, a Hawick man exiled in Portobello. In 1983, the club were given a silver salver by Jim Coburn, Deacon of the Selkirk Fleshers. The silver trowel, used at the building of the youth centre in 1970, was presented to the club by Langham man Ian Rhodes. Another gift from the Muckletoon came from ex-Langham cornet Ronnie Hudson, who presented the club with an ornamental box when he spoke at the dinner in 1994, another interesting artefact in the club's possession. The club were also delighted to receive Robert Burns commemorative plates from member Bill Thompson. For many years, the club has been pleased to provide the money for the Cornet's presentation riding crop, and honoured to lay a wreath in memory of the many Hawick callants who paid the supreme sacrifice in the two great wars of last century and in subsequent conflicts. In 2002, the club brought out a pictorial record of the common riding down through the years entitled As June Days Draw Nigh. In 2005, on the initiative of then committee man Cameron Knox, the Round the Mare relay race for primary schools was inaugurated, and with the help of Teviotdale Harriers, with past president Rob Halliday to the fore, this has proved to be a very popular initiative, providing an entertaining spectacle while the townsfolk await the Cornet's arrival at the racecourse. The winning school is awarded with the American Cup, a silver race trophy sent from Hawick in 1887 to Teary exiles in the Boston area as a thank you for their regular donations to the common riding, and gifted back to Hawick by Mary Craig Ray in 2002. In 2009, the club were delighted to assist financially towards the publication of Leslie Fraser and Judith Murray's excellent common riding guides for primary pupils and for adults. The club down through the years has worked closely with other like-minded clubs in the town, like the Callants Club, the Ancient Order of Mustroopers and the Archaeological Society, often jointly helping to fund plaques and memorials marking notable townspeople and anniversaries. Recent specific 1514 Club projects have included the restoration of James Hogg, author of Teary Buss's headstone in Old Wilton Cemetery, the provision of a bench and explanatory board at the Old Curling Pond and Jolly Tree at St Leonard's, and of a board detailing the history of the town's market cross outside the museum. One of the club's most recent ventures has been the presentation of a trophy to the junior section of Hawick Golf Club to be competed for in an annual Ryder Cup style match between the Golf Club junior section and the Golf Club men. As the club has grown and prospered, it has also been in a position to donate thousands of pounds to worthy local causes and charities. Looking forward, the club is fully committed to playing its part in the celebrations to mark the 500th anniversary of the capturing of the Banner Blue, with helping to fund the countdown clock and the intended presentation of a new common riding flag and provision of information boards at Horns Hole. In recent years, the 1514 Club has established a close link with Coldstream's Flodden 1513 Club, who in 2004 presented us with a silver salver.
My name is Gerald Tate. I'm Secretary of the Flodden 1513 Club based in Coldstream, and we've been in existence since 1997, and since then we've forged very strong links with the Hawick 1514 Club, and we have certain Hawick gentlemen in our club which attend our dinner, and we always get invited to to the 1514 club on a regular basis. This forge is forging these links has been great. The camaraderie, friendship, and the links between the town has been really valuable. As we head towards the 500 years anniversary of the Battle of Flodden and the anniversary of the Battle of Horns Hole in 1514.
One of the club's main functions is the Burn Supper.
Fair fire on his sonsy face, great chieftain o' the pudding race, aboon the my tak your place, pain stripe or firm, well ye worthy o' grace, as long's my arm.
The junior pipe band have become regular contributors, and the club were very happy to buy them a new big drum which bears the club logo. Club piper Roddy McIntyre has piped in the haggis for a long time.
I'm incredibly proud to be the 1514 official piper. I've now played 31, well this will be 31 consecutive years I've piped at the Burn Supper, and it was quite a thrill a few years ago at the dinner that they presented us with a tie, and they said that asked us if we'd be the honorary member and to be the club piper. It really was quite a thrill. I've played all around the world, and I would definitely put that down as one of my highlights in my piping career.
The highlight of the club year is the dinner. At these functions, we have been privileged to be entertained by many talented singers, musicians and reciters.
I'm delighted that the 1514 Club has reached the big 5-0. On behalf of everybody in the Muckletown of the Langham, I would like to send their very, very best wishes, because the camaraderie that exists between Yowlians and Usians is second to none. So have a good 50th birthday. Thank you.
A great feature of the dinner is the presentation of club artist Jim Copeman's caricatures to the cornet and acting father.
Again, I've done the cartoons for the 50 years cornets, 1990. First year was Willie McTaggart.
So, and then you've done your caricatures and your. You wasn't just doing the in for the presentation, they were up around the hall.
The halls and things.
Yeah.
Which is sometimes quite different. Because they're doing a lot going on in the tomb. You know, but they find something. Bullies and bikes was an absolute gift.
Last but by no means least, this fantastic caricature. Lovely comment again by Jim Coleman, absolutely fantastic. We'll pass it down to let you all have a look at it.
The club has been privileged to have Ian Seeley as its accompanist for the last 24 years.
Well, I've been playing the piano for the club for 24 years now, since the presidency of Terence Froud in 1988. I have a great feeling for this club. I think it does so much good in the town. It not only preserves Hawick's heritage through the common riding, but it also distributes its funds, which it makes from its concerts and other functions, for the good of Hawick, against a background of its common riding interests. It's funded the various memorials, or it's taken part in funding these things. I think, as a musician, of, for example, the Adam Grant plaque at the Tower now, in which the club played a very large part. I've also been privileged to be a speaker at the club's dinner, and I think it's wonderful that it's reached this stage in its 50th year, and I wish it all the best.
Such is the esteem in which the club is held, there is a long waiting list. The most recent person to be given membership was ex-acting Father Derek Oliver.
Well, I applied for membership for the club, I think it was back in 1999, and it was just earlier this year that I got a letter through from Secretary Norman Turnbull inviting us to become the newest member, I believe, of the club, to which I was really highly delighted and privileged, especially in this special year for the club, which coincides with my 50th as well, and also my brother-in-law Andrew being the latest club president. I wish the club and the committee all the best for the future and continuing to preserve the local traditions and also the support for other clubs in the town, and we wish them all the best for the next 50 years. Thanks.
It means a lot to Hawick Common Riding supporters to be a member of the 1514 Club.
Well, for me, being president in 2008 was the pinnacle of my time with the club. Having done 6 years on the committee and been involved in different aspects of the club, and lots of great nights that we've had and dinners that we've pulled some real good guests in and had some real entertainment for the members. I think most of all the things that we do for the town, supporting some of the needed folk and some of the older fraternity of the town, that makes you feel quite proud and helping them.
First of all, I'd like to say that you didn't realise how big the 1514 Club is when it comes to the Commemorating. It's a fantastic club. It's been a great honour for me to be president last year.
Thoughts on 1514 Club? Well, as a member of the Drum and Fife Band, I was lucky enough to be given my membership in 2009 in Jamie Richardson's year of office, which happened to coincide with my 25th year in the band. This obviously meant a great deal to me to receive my memento from the club on the concert night, and even more ecstatic to receive my membership of the club in the same night from then President Frank Scott. And obviously I've been waiting a long time to get into the club, and it was indeed a great honour, and something that always will bring back memories because of my 25th year in the band.
The 1514 Club totally encapsulates the enthusiasm, the love, the friendliness, all these nice things about Hawick Common Riding and Hawick itself, the town itself. For some reason the 1514 Club brings it all together in one huge, lovely lump. And it's this that's kept me connected so long with the club. Also, the innovative ideas, the little bits and pieces that I've been honoured to be able to make for the club has just given me great pleasure.
The 15-14 club's been a big part of my life, and I've really enjoyed it. A great bunch of men, and I hope I'm here for many years to come.
To sum up, what does the 15-14 club mean to you?
It means a great lot to me because, as I say, I've been a part of the 15-14 club for a mighty lot of years, and I've got some great friends, and I think it really epitomises just what the common riding is. It gets a great lot of folk together, and the amount of work they do and the amount of money they give to charity and all, and a lot of different organisations in the town, that they seem to raise money, and whenever they set out to raise money, they seemingly just exceed whatever they expect to raise it. And I think that the folk in Hawick just accept it as one of the foremost clubs in the common riding organisation.
We leave the last words to current President Andy Johnson.
I'm extremely proud to be president of the 15-14 club, especially in this our 50th year. Not once did I think, many moons ago when I went to the Legion, to the Burn Suppers, waiting at the last minute to see if I could get a ticket, sitting at the village, hoping that somebody might cry off that one day I'd be president of this great club. And it's been amazing this year to see what really goes on behind the scenes, not just our annual concert or annual dinner and the Burn Supper. There's so much more to the 15-14 club. The Roundemare race, or the art competition, and the concert for the youngsters of the town. I've been around old folks' homes twice, once at Christmas and once at the common riding. They're absolutely fantastic, taking the singers and entertainers round and seeing the old folk singing away to common riding songs. I've also had the privilege of representing the club at the 15-13 club down in Coldstream, beating the Moss Troopers, presented the cornet with a tie hung up on the wall here in the Border Club, and also going to Langham to present the Art Club trophy that we have over there.
To Vice President Davy Brand, who, all being well, will take up the reins at the next AGM.
I've actually got our current Secretary and ex-President Norman Turnbull to thank for me becoming a member of the 15-14 club. In 1985 we rode together to Denham. Norman was a wee bit under the weather, and he explained to us that he'd been to the 15-14 dinner the previous night. After a few pints in Thornterdykes that night, I put my name down, and 17 years later became a member of the club before joining the committee in 2008. It was come as a great shock, but a huge surprise, an honour to be asked by Andy to become his Vice President, and I'm really looking forward to becoming President of this club for 2013. The role of this club in the town is unique, as it caters for not only the old but the young, and visiting the old people's homes at Christmas and the common riding and seeing the sheer joy in their faces, especially at the common riding, I think it gives them a huge lift. And also the youngsters with the art competition and the concert. This club really does the town proud with what it achieves during the year. The money that it raises obviously goes to good causes as well. So really, for me, it's a great honour to be involved. And as I say, really looking forward to 2013.
And to Provost Ron Smith, a proud member of the club.
I've indeed been a member of the 15-14 club for some years, but it's as the Honorary Provost of Hawick that I want to extend my congratulations to the 15-14 club for achieving their 50th anniversary. They've much to be proud of over those 50 years, particularly in promoting the history and the traditions of the town, mainly relating to the common riding. But I would also want to pay attention to the success they've had in promoting the cultural tradition of the town. But it's the vehicle that they've chosen to foster the traditions of the town that also requires special attention through the art competition, the quiz and the primary schools concert. So between the common riding history and the cultural history, the 15-14 club has a great deal to be proud of. I would want to thank, on behalf of the town, the office bearers and the members for their work over those 50 years, and I look forward to witnessing their success over at least some of the next 50 years as well.
The 1514 Club, 50 years young. Here's to the next 50.
We'll keep the old flag flying when flaunting winds grow still. No power on earth does say us nay, nay system ever will. And we